So what do you want me to do, King Avery? When we go right into
live
Mark?
on Tulsa.
Live on Tulsa. This camera here?
Yep, this one here.
Peace, family. Happy Thursday. Happy Tulsa Talk Thursday. I am Ernestine Johnson, co-owner and CCO of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. As you know, the first black-owned ever real estate crowd fund. And welcome to another edition of our podcast, Tulsa Talk Thursday. Tonight's really dope because we have some very special guests joining us tonight. I think we've been bringing in a lot of special guests lately, and tonight is going to be really great because we have King Sean Harris, who is an expert real estate professional, joining us tonight. His kids are here in the studio with us. His kids are so amazing, and his lovely wife. His kids have their own businesses. How old are you, King? 8 and 7 years old, and they both own their own businesses. And not only do they own their own businesses, they have their business and his lovely wife. His business pitches down packed. They came in bearing gifts, told me about their business. Queen Kennedy here has a lip balm line, K-Lock Products, and she's got a t-shirt line. She has black baby dolls, and she came in here bearing gifts. And we're all about entrepreneurship around here, and we have none other than the one and only King Mark Whitten, who's going to be joining us tonight, who's a real estate investor, developer. He is an expert in his field. He has a really large following, and not only is he an expert at what he does, but he's doing really amazing things in our community, in his community. I've seen him all over the internet, so I'm so happy to talk to King Mark tonight. So if you're calling in or if you're joining in, you'll be able to talk to King Sean, myself, King Jay, and King Mark all tonight. And tonight's topic is, what's tonight's topic?
How we build generational wealth.
How we build generational wealth using TREF. For our investors who are on the phone and on the line and on live stream, we thank you. We're happy you're on this journey with us. And to our new investors and people who are thinking about investing, this is exactly where you want to be. This is all about building generational wealth. It's stopping the generational curse and building generational wealth. We're stopping the curse today. We've actually started stopping the curse June 1st of 2018, which was the 97th anniversary of the Black Wall Street bombing, where we raised over $10 million in just 7 days. I think now we're just under 12 million in a little over 30 days. June, July, yeah. So we're making history around here. We hope you are going to make history with us, with King Jay, myself, our TREF team, Janetta Pay Esquire, King Mashard Fireson. We've got the whole team in the studio tonight. We've got family in the studio tonight. We've got guests in the studio tonight. Tonight's going to be super powerful. King Jay is going to be joining us very shortly. But I want to get King Mark on the phone. King Mark's on the line. This has a code. For those of you just joining in, live stream, Instagram, Facebook, Tulsa. This is another edition of Tulsa Talk Thursday. Myself, Ernestine Morrison now. Oh, you know what? I think I said Ernestine Johnson earlier. Ernestine Morrison now, co-owner and CCO of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Thank you for joining. If you have some friends at home, some cousins at home, a mom at home, a daddy at home, tell them to log in now, call in now, because this is information that we don't want to miss. Not only when we get information, we don't want to hoard it and keep it to ourselves. We want to share the wealth, want to share the information. So call a friend, tell a friend, phone a friend, get everybody on the line. Tonight's going to be extremely powerful. Take notes. If you are sitting at home, I need you to have a notebook out and soak up this knowledge, share this knowledge. We're about to get it popping tonight. Tulsa Talk Thursdays. King Mark Whitten is in the building with us. King Sean Harris in the building with us. King Jay Morrison, my king, our visionary, our founder of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, will be joining us shortly. So it's going down tonight. King Mark, you're on?
One moment, Queen.
Alrighty then. Queen Kennedy, why don't you come join me while we have some time? So I want everybody to meet Queen Kennedy right here. Come over here next to me, young queen. She is a business owner, you guys. She's beautiful. She's chocolate. She's 8 years old. Tell the fine people out there about your business.
Hello, my name is Kennedy. My business is K-Lock. We sell baby dolls, lockets, lotions, and lip balms, and baby dolls.
Isn't that amazing? She's got it down pat. Her products, the name of her
I want to
business.
hear that again. I need to hear. I couldn't hear you.
We need you to project.
Hello, my name is Kate Kennedy.
A little louder, a little louder. You gotta talk to the camera. They gotta hear you all the way out there.
Hello, my name is Kennedy. My business is K-Lock. We sell baby
Unmuted.
dolls. We sell lotion, lip balm, and lockets.
Nice.
And I am wearing her blue raspberry lip balm right now, which smells amazing and it feels smooth. So she came in bearing gifts and gifted me one. You can find her products on her website, klockproducts.com. Support our young queen, support our young entrepreneurs. This is our future leader right here. This could be our future president right here. So let's support our youth who are doing amazing things. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us and thanks for telling us about your business.
You're welcome.
All right, King Jay Morrison has just walked
The
into
recording
the
has
building. So we are about
Q&A
to
session has started.
We're about to
ask
get
your
started.
question, please press *6.
on our another edition of Tulsa Talk Thursday.
Can I have my seat?
You absolutely
Please,
can,
Mr.
King.
Morrison?
You absolutely can,
All right,
Mr.
thank
Morrison.
Unmuted.
All right. My rightful spot on the throne. What's up, family? Happy Morrison Day.
The Morrisons.
Welcome to another episode of Tulsa Talk Thursday. Apologies, I was a little late. I've been in the flow today. Just got finished with one of our coaching clients here in Atlanta. Actually worked with 4 coaching clients today and really inspired and invigorated because we're breaking down wealth building strategies, which is what we're kind of doing on a daily basis and what tonight's call is about. And I'm watching the more people that I interact with and we interact with, the better that we get and the better I get as a coach and offering these strategies that I'm seeing work, that have been working, and that we have not had access to. And that's one of the biggest things I talk about in many Jay Morrison Academy lectures. You may see your corner class lectures. This strategy, I've mentioned it 4 or 5 times today, and I want to give it to you all real quick before we get started. Part of our strategy is this. As entrepreneurs, as business owners, whether that's in real estate or any other field, your objective, and all of us start off working in our businesses, figuring out the operations, figuring out the kinks, figuring out our business model. And then our objective is to work from being in our business to work our way out of our business so we can work on our business, right? That's your goal, is to be able to create enough momentum, enough energy, get enough partners and staff, and be the expert at hiring experts. So you have people like Eugene right here who's doing our microphone, getting my sound right, and Javier over there on the editing, and Avery back there on digital marketing. We have people who are experts at what they do, who are helping you to facilitate your vision while you work on your business, creating new contacts, finding out any gaps in your business, and just perfecting your business model and your, hopefully, your revenue. And so the next strategy from there we talk about is knowledge plus credibility equals influence. And I believe that knowledge is simply your research and you obtaining and digesting new strategies and new information. Credibility comes in 2 parts. Credibility is either your resume, speaking to what you have done and accomplished, or credibility comes from your perception. So you could be new in a business, but still come across credible based on how people perceive you and the images and the branding and what you show the world, right? And from that credibility, either through resume or perception or both, and that knowledge base you gain, from those 2 things, you then gain influence. And so from that influence, you then as an entrepreneur or investor or developer, from that influence, you then have this credibility, of course, and you're able to be the go-to person for those in your network, meaning starting with your family and friends, and then your friends of friends, and then strangers. And that's really like the approach we take towards entrepreneurship is about us networking, meeting new people, but being influential because we are credible through either resume or perception or both, and then because we are knowledgeable. So when people know you know what you're talking about, and they know you look the part, smell the part, and you have the resume, people are more likely to do business with you, and then you are able to grow your businesses and therefore start to build generational wealth. And Ernestine did it in her business, Selfish Swank, as she was knowledgeable about fashion. She was credible because she's fashionable and she looked the part. And then she started to build a client base of some of the most top A-list stars and sports figures in the country. And now from that, she's a go-to person within her sphere of influence, her family, her friends, her clients, friends of friends. And that even spawned into her being influential in other areas and advising clients on investments and other opportunities. And again, it's just how we grow. So I want to just give you guys a little bit of, that free game and perspective. And it's what I'm doing as the fund manager of the Tulsa Fund. I'm using that same exact strategy, using all of my knowledge base and strategy base I've gained over the last 12 years, all the credibility that I've been able to amass from the millions in real estate that I've transacted, acquired, developed over and advised on over the last 12 years, the perception and branding and positioning that we've set the tone for as a company, as the first ever Black-owned real estate crowd fund with great marketing, we're told. Using all of that to gain more influence in the industry, in the real estate space. And because of that influence, we are getting some of the best deals in the country without any marketing. Folks are hand delivering, saying, hey, I got this deal.
Amazing deals.
There's a $3 million profit. I want you to participate because I believe in what Tulsa's doing. I already got the money. I just want to carve out a slot for Tulsa to be able to invest with us as a private equity partner because I want to see you do well. I want to see Tulsa perform. And we've gotten that so many times, hundreds of units that we've been offered to participate in and are negotiating, all because of our knowledge, credibility, and influence in this space. And then me, because I have a great team around me, being able to work on the business, build these relationships, and vet these deals because our team is handling the in the business weeds that we have to deal with as entrepreneurs. And so I want to give you all that. So what else we got, honey? I know we have a special guest.
We have a special guest. I said my bit. Ernestine Morrison got that right this time. I'm gonna spin that off.
Wait,
to
who
King
said
Jay.
Johnson?
I said Johnson when we first opened, but I corrected it, family. I corrected it. It's only been a week. I'm
gonna talk to you when we get home.
See, now I'm in trouble. And now I gotta go.
Now you gotta go.
But I did correct it. I am excusing myself. Good night, family. Ernestine Morrison, your CCO of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
The one and only.
Passing the mic off to King Jay and King Mark, who is now joining us.
All right.
All right.
So, King Mark, can you come have a seat with me, please?
No, King Mark's on the phone.
Okay, Mark. Oh, Mark Whitten. Okay, gotcha. Oh, Mark Whitten's on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Oh, we doing great, King. So, Mark Whitten, I want to ask you a question in a second. If everyone doesn't know, Mark Whitten is one of the leading real estate influencers in the country. I've watched him grind his way up over several years in the business as a developer, an investor, and an educator. And even prior to me ever hosting my first real estate lecture or online presentation, I saw Mark Whitten getting busy out of Baltimore and has been very inspirational. And what I love most about Mark and why I invited him on the call tonight and have been consistently building with him, outside of Mark Whitten investing $10,000 for his, how many shares is that? 200 shares? Right? Yeah. 200 shares of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund with a $10,000 investment. Outside of that, Mark and I have had this this brotherhood where we don't have to talk every 30 days or every week, but whenever we see each other, it's love. When he texts me, I text him. When I'm in Baltimore, I come pull up on him. When he's in Atlanta, he gives me a call. But what I love about it is that many would view Mark and I as being in the same space and being competition, and we never treated it like that. It's always been love. And I remember after the Freddie Gray uprising in Baltimore, I was spending months in Baltimore organizing on the ground and got to build with Mark about Black Wall Street and about our flag and about our unity. And he was just like a sponge and open ears. And I think that's really what built our relationship. And I've seen Mark grow in regards to not just being a real estate guy, but being a community empowerment guy, so to speak, or king. And so Mark, I want to just let you know that from my mouth to your ears that I've watched your progression. I've watched all those you've inspired. Super proud of you, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. And same go to you, man. I'm proud of you, man. You inspired me as well. I'm just glad that we're able to, link up, man, as brothers and as black men, and get out here and really, inspire our people, man.
Right. So Mark, I noticed a big shift with you, really being focused. I've seen you use the word community a lot, empowerment a lot, and I watched that big shift. Like you made an intentional decision. Like I'm not going to just be, I'm sure we all take anyone of any ethnicity and color. We're not segregating or being racist, but I saw you be very intentional about our community and empowering our community. Is there anything that triggered that, or what was that spark for you that said, you know what, I want to be more intentional about making sure our people get the resources, education, and inspiration they need?
Well, I would say it's something that started in me a long time ago, man. Just the way that I grew up, not really having much, just always wanting more. I wasn't poor growing up, but I was poor adjacent. I guess is what people were saying. You know what I mean? I ain't grew up in the hood or nothing like that. I lived in a decent neighborhood. My family was poor, when we weren't poor, but we didn't really have much. And I'm saying all that to say that, when I started, seeing some success and, wanted to teach people, I just thought about, how I was growing up and how there's so many other people in our community that grew up just like me or just like you or just like us, And I felt like it's very important that I reach back out to people that are just like me and give them the same opportunity that I had to be successful, to build wealth for myself, build wealth for my family, and more importantly, my son. So that way, he didn't have to, basically grow up like I did, man. And that's pretty much been my motivation. I just feel like, that we as a people, when I say as a people, I'm talking about, Africans in America. I believe that's what you referred to us as, Jay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we pretty much come from nothing. Nobody gave us anything. When we were released from, slavery. They just let us go. They didn't give us anything. We've been figuring it out ever since, man. And when I discovered this business and I saw what it was doing for my life, I felt like I had to, just reach back and try to bring as many people with me as I can.
That you sound like that's us. Like you said, it's our story.
Yeah.
It's exactly why I've been so passionate about it. Is like, how can we save more people from our village? Like you said, who weren't given anything and weren't expected to be anything. So I definitely appreciate all your efforts, and I look forward to our collaboration this weekend. I think it's going to be super awesome because
for sure.
We know in this industry there's multiple strategies, there's multiple philosophies, there's multiple systems that can get you the same results. And I love learning from you and seeing what's working in your world and contributing what's working in our world. And so we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we do, I want to ask you, I came to Baltimore. I called you after I had my Sharif wings in Baltimore. If y'all are not from Baltimore, ain't been through Baltimore, you got to get Sharif's wings, the rotisserie wings. I'm trying to tell you it's going to change your life. Promise me. Trust your brother. So
for sure.
After my Sharif wings, I called you. I said, Mark, let's link up. I want to talk to you. We came to your estate. Very nice house, by the way. And we talked, and we talked about Tulsa. And I was just really planting a seed for Tulsa to let you know, hey, when Tulsa pops, if there's any way I can assist you or invest with you or we could do projects together, I'm with it. I'm down. And, I thought you might support Tulsa and, shout us out and, maybe invest a couple dollars. Then you sent me a text message with a $10,000 investment into the fund. And I want to know and just share for the people what triggered that, or how did you come to that decision that I'm really gonna invest something substantial into the movement, into this fund for our community?
Well, I would say there's a few things, man. Number one is I really want to support you, man, because I've been seeing what you've been doing since day one, man. It's very inspirational. It's very how can I put it? Just solid, man. It's very just solid, man. I guess that's the best word I could use for it, man. And I love what you're doing, man. And I just wanted to, I wanted to show you, and not just you, but everybody that follow us. That what you're doing, man, is very it's very special, man. You know what I mean? And
Thank you.
I know that I have a lot of people that follow me, and people need to see that not only are we all sticking together, to support you, but to show people like, look, this is a really good thing that we all should be invested in. You know what I mean? It's like you say all the time. It's not a Jay thing, it's a us thing. We all need to come together, and just get behind things like that, man. Especially something monumental as this. So I just felt like, man, I wanted to really show my support, man, and show, everybody that in our culture, that follows us, that, that this is something that, we all need to be a part of, man. And I think that was my biggest motivation right there, really jump in and, and invest with the fund and just, show my support, man.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. For everyone who might have just hopped in a live stream or the call, this is real estate investor, influencer, developer extraordinaire, Mark Whitten on the line with me. And Mark's talking about his $10,000 investment for 200 shares of the Tulsa Fund. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Outside of my wedding and my nuptials this year, when I got support from Mark and from Ramon Tukes and from Greg Parker and from Kenny Rushing, and I'm talking about the top real estate influencers and investors in the country, bar none. And I'm talking about they're texting me and emailing like I ain't gonna lie, I'm keeping it 1,000. Y'all know, like listen, everything on the table. I expected some support. And again, these guys and these kings, aren't just investors. Many of them teach, as we do in the Jay Morrison Academy. They're educators, they're coaches. And so we're all in the same industry, right? And we have this kind of, sometimes we'll collaborate here and there, but I won't say that we've all been locking arms and, have been this united front of black men in the real estate industry. We haven't necessarily been that. And so we launched Tulsa. I didn't know what kind of response to get, but when I got the text messages and the Instagram shout outs and just all the support from everybody who are in this space, it really warmed my heart and was one of the most encouraging days of this year for me, that my brothers, like, especially at a time when so many people who don't even do real estate, don't even own real estate assets, haven't developed millions in real estate as we all have, who aren't in our industry, had so much negative to say about the Tulsa Fund and me as a manager. To see those who are in my industry, who are my peers, stand up and say, Jay, we salute you. It wasn't even we support you. It was like, Jay, we salute you. We like you say, we're inspired by it. And to see so many black men be like transparent, non-ego driven and all that, it really, as an activist, as an entrepreneur, and as an African man in America, it really was one of the warmest days, again, for me this year. Like, that meant a lot to me. That, nobody was on the ego stuff. Nobody was on I'm still getting love. And then again, Mark and others just didn't back it up with words, but he literally put his money where his mouth was. And that's the spirit of Black Wall Street. It wasn't O.W. Gurley, the founder of Black Wall Street, buying the first 40 acres and him doing it by himself. It was him doing it, and then other investors and developers saying, all right, I'm with it, let's go. And so, Mark, you really led by example with that action and with all your, vocal support, and I appreciate it.
No doubt, Ken. No doubt, man. Anytime, man.
Yep. So this weekend, Mark and I are hosting an event, a webinar, so everyone can watch it. It's not just limited to your participation here in Atlanta or in Baltimore, where Mark's from. It's going to be a live stream webinar where Mark and I are going to be talking about how anyone can find deals, fund your deals, and multiple ways you can fund real estate deals, and flip those deals for profits. And so, Mark, anything you want to relate to those on our Tulsa Talk Thursdays about what they can expect if they register for this Saturday's event, Jay and Mark Whitten Live?
Yeah, I mean, what I can tell you is this, anytime that I teach a class or whatever, the first thing and the most important thing that always crosses my mind on my agenda is to make sure that everybody leaves knowing exactly what they need to do step by step to really get out here and start making money. So if you never took any of my classes, any of my trainings, you definitely don't want to miss this one because I'm telling you, I'm gonna talk about some new things too that I haven't discussed before, some new strategies. And you need to be on it. I mean, that's if you feel it, you know what I mean? Because like I tell people all the time, you know, real estate is 5% of the game. The rest of the other 95% is your mindset. Because you got to get up, you got to be really ready, ready and willing to learn, and more importantly, to take action. Because I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm going to give you exactly what you need. So I don't want you thinking like this is some class that you're going to sign up for, and you're just going to get a little bit of information and then think that you got to pay more to get out here and make money, because that's not going to be the case. You're gonna learn exactly what you need to do to get out here and start making money. And at the end of the day, it's like if you don't do it, then that's on you. You know what I mean? That's on your mindset. I would recommend that you go pick up a book, or pick up some books on just growth and mindset. I recommend this one book I read. It's called Key to Yourself, and the author's name is Bernice J. Bloodworth. So I would recommend you get that book anyway, because I'm telling you, it'll have you on fire. It will get you really geared up to take action on whatever you're doing, especially when it comes to business and this real estate that you're going to learn on Saturday from me and Jay. So that's all I really want to tell everybody, Jay, is just know that there's not going to be something that you're going to get on and not learn nothing that you can really go do right away. This is stuff that you're going to be able to go do right away and start making money. But again, it's up to you. It's going to be on your grind. You know what I mean? You got to put the work in. We're going to give you all the game, but you got to go put the work in. And I can almost guarantee, I can't guarantee nothing, but I can almost guarantee that if you're serious about it, you're going to make money. And I mean, you can go, look me up online. You'll see all my student testimonials. In fact, I think we got testimonials from Jay and both of me and Jay actually on the website. So you'll see those when you go sign up. You'll see that this is for real, and we ain't playing around. So this whole educate the community, empower the community, we serious about this, and you're gonna see.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what I've been saying to people all day is like understanding real estate strategies on all levels gives you the opportunity to write your own ticket, to not worry about how you're going to feed your family at any day in life. Once you understand these strategies, you literally could put yourself in position to always create money out of thin air. And I can vouch. That's why I brought and asked for Mark or accepted Mark's invitation to do this webinar together, is because we did one, I think maybe 2 years ago, and Mark gonna give it to you all. I mean, I'll pour in, I'm passionate, I'm loud. Mark is going to be super thorough. He's going to give you every strategy he knows. It's not the fluff stuff just for an upsell. It's about us preparing you. Because what we know is that if we give you real solid information, real action steps, and real strategies you can use, you're always going to support us anyway, because we offer so much value. So we don't got to shortchange you on the value for you to support us in other endeavors. I think that's why many of you are on Tulsa Talks, why many of you are TREF investors, because of the type of value that we have given our community over the years. And so, Mark, we got to collaborate on the corner class too. I got to bring you out to one of the cities on the corner class tour. But so we have another guest for us tonight, but I want to encourage you all to register for this event with two of the top real estate experts in the country, tried and true, proven, Mark Whitten, Jay Morrison. You guys go to www.jayandmarklive.com. That's www.jayandmarklive.com to register for this webinar. If you can't make the webinar, which I believe starts at 2 p.m.? 3 it starts at 2 p.m. on Saturday, 2 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, a 3-hour webinar with me and Mark Whitten, or Mark Whitten and I. And if you can't make that time slot, there will be a replay for you. So register for it anyway, and then watch the replay if you can't make the 2 to 5 p.m. time slot. It's a webinar for anyone throughout the world. It's international. You can register and learn proven real estate strategies that have set Mark Whitten and I financially free. So Mark, love you, King. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you this Saturday. And not only are we friends and fellow influencers, but because of your investment in the Tulsa, we are partners. You're a founder, and we're shareholders together. So this is our first joint venture, and I look forward to us funding as Tulsa, as a fund. I want us to fund one of your projects or multiple of your projects. So let's talk about what projects you got coming up next and how Tulsa can participate in being an equity partner in some of the projects you or your students have in the Maryland area or anywhere in the country.
All right, cool, man. I just wanted to say, man, hey, listen, I love you too, King. Love everybody on this phone. Us as a community, we all got to stick together. We all got to love each other. And we all got to just, strive for greatness, not only for us, but for our future generations. And that's what's most important. So, yeah, man, I look forward to everything. I look forward to building, look forward to doing, business, and just continue to educate our community, man.
We all in. We all we got, and we all we need.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Ken. You guys can follow Mark on Instagram at Mark Flips Houses, right? That's at Mark Flips Houses. Yep. Follow him on Instagram. Any other information you want to leave with Mark before you go?
You can go to my website. It's realestatemoneyclub.com. Again, it's www.realestatemoneyclub.com, and it's in my bio on Instagram too. That's at Mark Flips Houses.
All right, Love King. Talk to you soon. See you soon. And again, you guys can register for this exclusive webinar with two of the leading professionals in the industry, jayandmarklive.com this Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. Live webinar, how you find, fund, and flip deals. And look forward to seeing you guys there. So, I know. All right, Mark, peace. We out.
All right, King, peace.
Love.
See y'all on the webinar.
Yes, sir. And so we have another treat for our Tulsa Talk Thursday audience. Really special story. Another experienced and successful real estate investor and entrepreneur. Sean Harris is going to be joining us here in the studio. So, Sean, you want to come up, King?
Yes, sir.
I want to welcome you.
How you doing, King Jay?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so we're talking about building generational wealth. People hear me all the time. They see some of our other associates, but it's great to have you come in. You're a TREF partner,
Yes.
shareholder. You're a founder?
Founder. I'm a founder.
You made the founder deadline? All right.
Yes, sir.
He's one of our fellow founders. So, King, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and what brought you here with us tonight.
Okay, I'm Sean Harris, and I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And one of the things that got me so interested in the TREF was my family actually owned one of the first African-American owned hotels in Atlanta.
Wow.
And where the Grady Curve is now is where their establishment sat. So the 7585 connector actually pretty much eminent domain right through the center of the business.
So the city took the properties.
Right. So at that point, just seeing the history in my family of entrepreneurs, I just always knew that I had to take the mantle and run with it. Just take the baton and run with it. So, I developed, my parents, they taught me, go to school, get good grades, go get a job.
Right.
And, as I grew older, I just realized that didn't work as well as it was designed to work. So a better axiom that I like to go by is go to school, get okay grades, and go build a business. Because A students teach B students who always work for C students. And I just looked
Say that again.
A students teach B students who always work for C students. And I was a C student. I just wanted to see my way out.
Right.
And so when I was 17, my dad, he gave me the choices. Either you can go to school, get a job, or go to the military. So I figured in the 12 years that I went to school, if I didn't figure it out by then, it wasn't too much more I was going to learn as far as basic academia. And I didn't want to go work for anyone because I didn't like being told what to do. So I went to I went to the Air Force, and guess what? They told me what to do. But it gave me a great opportunity to travel, get some experience, and just see the world as it was. Mm-hmm. And King Jay, I remember seeing my base commander. He had been in for 30 years. He was coming up for retirement. And I remember he stuck his chest out nice and broad, and he said, you know what, Airman, if you stay in the Air Force for 30 years, just like I did, you can command the base just like I do. So, as he said that and turned and walked and got into this decrepit vehicle, and I knew where he lived, and I was like, wow, if doing something for 30 years, trading your time for money, led to this, that definitely wasn't what I wanted. So when I got out the military, I got in law enforcement for a little while, and I started burning the candle at both ends. And I knew that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Both my parents were entrepreneurs, so I saw them burn the candle at both ends. And what that did was gave me the foundation to be able to move forward in the direction of entrepreneurship.
Right.
So, you know,
This is a very intriguing. I want you to look at the camera and speak to the audience, because I'm hearing you.
gotcha.
And me and you will be locked in, and they won't hear. I want to make sure that they hear this and they get this. So continue on, though.
Okay.
It's a great story.
So when I got out of the military, I started an exit strategy before I got out of the military, and I knew at that point that I had to redirect my focus. I had to start educating myself in entrepreneurship. So I did some time in law enforcement, and I started seeing some of my comrades losing their lives, and I realized that this wasn't going to be the future for me, because I also realized that I was based on my physical ability to perform. And if something ceased for me to be able to create the income through using my physical ability to perform, which is very easy to become injured in law enforcement, I knew that I didn't have a career after that. So at that point, I decided, I started speaking to one of the other police officers, and I noticed that his lifestyle started changing. He started driving different vehicles, and he moved to a different neighborhood. And I asked him, I was like, what are you doing? And he said, not too much. So I continued hounding him about it, and he saw that my commitment level, I was serious. And at that point, he said, you know, I do real estate. I said, really? I said, tell me more about it. So he initially told me about a home inspector. So I went to school, became a home inspector, and started a home inspection company.
You're a police officer and home inspector?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So at that point, King J, I started realizing that in just 2 days worth of work as a home inspector, I was making more than I was making as a deputy sheriff. So I was like, Dad always told me work smarter, not harder. And I realized that, you know, if I could generate income in a 20-hour block of time that it would typically take me 40 or more hours or 60 hours of working overtime, I could generate the same capital. I could then take that money and put it into my own business. So I started kind of taking the money from my real estate, the home inspection business, as well as law enforcement, and putting it all into my business, because I knew that's what my dream was. And it came to a point where I saw his lifestyle start changing even more. He became a broker. And I said, okay, I want to learn some more about the real estate side as opposed to just the home inspection side. So when I got into the real estate side, he started teaching me. He said, well, look, man, at that time the market was booming. And he said, look, you made at least 3% on every sale that you made. So I did the math. I said, okay, $100,000 house, 3%, that's $3,000. Then he said, well, if you list the house and you sell the house, you'll get the full 6%.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh yeah, I like this now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been pretty good with numbers. And at that point, I got to the point where I had doubled my income that I was making in law enforcement in less than a year. So at that point, I knew pretty soon I need to burn one end of the candle out. And at the sheriff's department, the sheriff and I were pretty close, and he knew what I was doing in conjunction to working at the sheriff's department. And he said, Mr. Harris, he called me Deputy Harris. He said, if you're still here in the next 6 months, I'm going to fire you.
Wow.
And he said it in a good way, because he told me, he said, look, you're losing money coming in here every day when you can be really making your money and fulfilling your dream out there. So,
So I want to know this.
uh-huh.
What was your psyche at that time, knowing that you were doubling your income in your own business, but still going to work and spending time in someone else's business, the government's business? What kept you there at the police station or as a deputy? What kept you in that role, seeing economic disparity and the risk?
Gotcha. At that point, it was still the uncertainty, I guess. You know, I was ready to take my foot off first to steal second, but I didn't take it off.
Stop right there. See, this is what I'm talking about. This lesson or this episode of Toast Talk Thursday is about building generational wealth. And Mark Whitten hit it on the head. It's 5% real estate or entrepreneurship. is 95% mindset. Think about this. I'm looking at everybody in the room. Think about this. This man said, I doubled my income in my own business in real estate, doubled what I was making as a deputy sheriff with overtime, but I still was uncertain about the opportunities in my own business and wasn't willing to bet it all on me, but was willing to gamble my life. Because it wasn't like you had you were working at FedEx. He's working in one of the most riskiest businesses in the world, but he was more certain about coming home at night as a deputy police officer and was more willing to risk his life dealing with what an officer has to deal with than the psychological perceived uncertainty
Right.
of pouring all those hours. Mindset. His mind at that point in time didn't say, wait, if I'm doubling my income part-time in real estate, doing full-time what I do here, what if I took all these hours from over here and put them into here? To me, and to an entrepreneur mind, that's a no-brainer. Like, I'd quit that day.
Right.
I don't need two discussions about that.
You're right. And I'll tell you, King Jay, what made me fall on the other side of the fence. I was actually taking a trip. I was on my way to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, and the phone rang. I kind of knew that I was going to be leaving pretty soon, so it's kind of like in the military. If you have a leave time, you kind of want to use it before you lose it. And at that point, I said, I got about 2.5 months worth of vacation, so I better start burning some of this time. And I was down to about 45 days in a row that I had took off on vacation. And my commander actually called me while I was sitting at the terminal at Hartsfield International Airport. I was about to board the plane, and he said, Deputy Harris, you must return to work on Monday unless you have express written concern from the sheriff himself, or you'll be terminated. And at that point, I thought about it, only for half a second. And I said, he was a major, I won't say his name right now. I said, Major, I'll deal with you when I get back. And I hung up the phone. And at that point, my mindset shifted.
So I'm the boss. I'm the
boss.
man.
And I decided at that point, I want my freedom. I wanted to be able to control my time and my money, and I was budgeting my time, like you said, on both sides of the fence, and I wanted to put all that time to leverage on my side.
And you know what part of it is? We are programmed, as you said, through school, to go to school, get good grades, go to college, and go work for somebody.
Right.
So what's happening is that we have to, and grandmama said it, and mama said it, and so what happens is we have to reprogram ourselves to say, wait, that don't make sense all the time.
Nope.
It doesn't make sense and we say, oh, well, the job is certain. But what happens when the pink slip comes? Is it certain then? What happened when a near-death experience happens? What happens when the owner of the company has a gambling problem and the company goes bankrupt? Or has a drug problem or gets divorced? Right. Is it certain then? So we buy into this make-believe uncertainty because it benefits the government institution and corporate institutions to promote employeeship over entrepreneurship. Because if the American school system promoted that everyone become entrepreneurs, where would the employees be?
Right.
So this country works off of labor. It's why we're here, because they needed labor. And so they want to promote laborship, employeeship, and not entrepreneurship. So it makes it so hard for us to break out of habits and making decisions that we know don't very well make much sense.
Right.
Where you almost have to get forced out of your job
Yes.
in order for you to leave what you were told all your life is what you should be doing.
Right.
And so tell us about some of your successes or experiences during this entrepreneur journey.
Well, subsequently I started my real estate businesses, and I continued to actually triple that income that I was making at the sheriff's department within a year
I borrow
after
some money?
that. You sure can.
Okay, thank you.
With a good interest rate.
Okay.
So, I just started, it gave me more time, Jay, to be able to be more creative. I was able to read more. And readers are leaders. Your income is always based on your reading habit. And I found that out really quick. So I started expanding into different avenues of business. And I started recognizing once I could leverage my time by creating a business system where it's now making money for me, and I actually reached back and started a like a contract police service business where I then hired police that I work with.
Wow.
Where you have a contract, which of course the amount that you're making is here, but I'm only paying them their percentage.
Right. You make
So-
your override.
Right. So with that compounded times multiple officers doing that, you started to duplicate yourself or franchise yourself. And at that point, I was able to have a self-sustaining system in place, which allowed me to go start other avenues of creating more income.
Absolutely.
So, I wanted to shift more so into the real estate portion because that was the meat and potatoes of the income. And we started subsequent companies thereafter, have a commercial cleaning company, publishing company, speaking business, and so forth.
And that's kind of, I want you to give me, I don't want to cut you off. Well, I do want to cut you off, but
Okay.
not in a bad way.
Gotcha.
That's part of why I said we work in our business to work our way out of our business
Right.
so we can work on our business.
Exactly.
Working on your business is doing your self-development, reading, getting mentorship, getting coaching, going to conferences, doing training. So improving yourself as a visionary, as an entrepreneur, your hiring, your firing practice, your operational practices, working on your bookkeeping, your accounting, your marketing, your branding, your HR, all those things are what your responsibility is, but it's hard to truly focus on those things if you're in the weeds.
Right.
So your initial goal as an entrepreneur is, hey, how do I get myself out of all this muck?
Right.
Through systemizing, through operationalizing, and through hiring, so now I can work on it and improve it and then scale it.
Right. And that was one thing I saw too. Like you said, in the beginning, you wear all the hats. I'm the janitor, the principal, the
Everything.
I do
Accountant,
everything.
yeah.
And like you said, you actually work more when you're working for yourself. But like you said, you want to work your way out of that. So a litmus test I always ask people, and this will determine what type of time I'll spend with them, is I'll ask them, would you rather make $80,000 a year for yourself or $100,000 working for a company? And if they go for I'll take the $100,000, your mindset's not right.
You all messed up.
You have to be able to focus on what you're making for yourself, realizing that you're going to probably work 12, 14, 16 hours a day as opposed to the 8-hour shift that you would have worked at the job. But so many people focus on the comfort. It's comfortable to go to work Monday through Friday. I know I'm going to get a paycheck next Friday. I have guaranteed vacation days. But as an entrepreneur, you don't have that luxury.
Correct.
In the beginning stages, when you travel, if you're not systematized, you're not making money. You may have the money to go travel. You have the money to go travel for 2 weeks.
But everything stops.
Everything stops. And that made me also realize that that's what I call the X out factor.
Okay.
If you're X out of the equation, what happens to your family financially? So that's why I put business systems in place where that money can keep going, becomes residual, and more importantly, you own it, you control it, and you can pass it
Yep.
through the kids.
Absolutely.
And that's what's always been important to me, is family and kids. And to be able to, they're looking at you. They're looking at you.
You're an example.
Dad, are you staying in the bed at 10 o'clock in the morning? Are you staying there to the crack of noon? You got to get up and you got to work.
Right.
But working your own business.
Absolutely.
And that's what I put into my kids, and they started their own companies. They're both LLC companies, and, we're teaching them financial literacy. And, all these kids, they know all the words to every song, every challenge, and it's like, can we teach them a financial challenge? Can we teach our kids how to create an extra $50 this month if they're 9 or 10 years old? It's doable.
Yep.
When I was 7 years old, I was pushing a lawnmower the old-fashioned way. Push that lawnmower up and down the street and get paid. And as a kid, I was making like $12 a week. That was a lot of money back then in the 80s. I was rich. So I thought to a
Right.
kid. But I also reinvested that money back. When parts on my lawnmower would break, we had a lawnmower guy down the street. I would actually go take $2 or $3 and go get a new wheel put on. Get a new pull string for your lawnmower, because if your lawnmower's out of business, you're out of business. So those are some of the dynamics of being a business owner, just to have the mindset right. And, I think so often people get to the point where they realize, man, this thing is hard.
Yep.
I was working 40 hours a week at my job, but now I'm working 60 or 80 hours. I want to go back to the job.
And this is where mindset comes into place. Entrepreneurship is hard. There are many days, even today I think I said it, where I'm looking at my workload, I'm looking at being pulled in so many directions, I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm like, what did I sign up for? I literally asked myself, and what I realized is I signed up for the challenge of being the first in my family to spearhead legacy building and generational wealth.
Right.
And what happens is many of us, and I'm an 80s baby as well,
Okay.
many of us run from the challenge of being that pioneer or that matriarch in our family to build our family's legacy and generational wealth.
Yeah.
So we say, you know what? That crap is hard. I'm about to go to the club. That's easy. I'm about to go shop. That's easy.
Yeah.
Consuming and spending money is easy. I'm about to work, figure out my shortcuts at my job Monday through Friday, and I'm about to enjoy my weekends. And then you pass down to your children, what, your memories?
Right.
Your Gucci bags? Your old red bottom shoes? So we have to, because especially in our community, a lot of our wealth was stripped. Not just from our homeland, but even here as we start to build it in Black Wall Street. That wealth was stripped. When O.W. Gurley in the early 1900s purchased the first 40 acres of land in Tulsa Town, which wasn't even called Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was called Tulsa Town. He bought 40 acres of land, and because of Jim Crow, O.W. Gurley only sold land to black people. These black entrepreneurs, including J.B. Stafford, the second man to invest with him, built up 36 square blocks of over 2,000 homes and businesses in Tulsa Town, currently Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they made the sacrifices to be the pioneers to build wealth for our community and build generational wealth. And then that wealth was stripped during the Black Wall Street bombing and massacre of June 1st, 1921. So stripped that the corrupt individuals of Tulsa, Oklahoma and government, they categorized the Black Wall Street bombing and massacre as the Black Wall Street race riots. Because if you categorize it as a riot, insurance companies did not have to pay insurance claims on all the burned down buildings.
Interesting.
So over $2 million of insurance claims were denied in the 1920s, which is equivalent to nearly $30 million today of insurance claims denied because of verbiage, because of wording, riots versus massacre, race riots versus bombing. And so under these conditions, us in 2018, we have some options.
Right.
We have some intentional choices. We can smoke, party, drink, and BS. We can go on vacations with our girlfriends and enjoy every happy hour after work. We can rent the best condo in downtown Atlanta with the high rise overlooking the city. Or we can make the sacrifices needed for our family to maybe own a 4-unit on the west side and live in one unit and rent the others out and live for free. Although it's not the most comfortable or luxurious pad, but it's something that's yours,
Absolutely.
something your heirs can benefit from. And when you talked about your exit strategy, I had that same lesson in my office next door to 2 clients today.
Okay.
One client had the same concern. He's been coaching with me for over a year. He's about to close on a 4-family house in Newark, New Jersey. But he said, Jay, I really can't be active as a real estate investor because of my time. I'm working 10 and 13 and even 20-hour days doing construction. I said, King, one of your first goals to yourself, and everyone should write this down. All my Tulsa Talk folks, here's your lesson. I said, create a real actionable exit strategy for yourself. Take your monthly budget. How much expenses or money do you expense per month? Say if it's $6,000 a month you spend on all your bills and your lifestyle you're living for your family. $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $5,000, $4,000, doesn't matter. I said, save up. Make it your family goal to save up 6 months. This is everyone. You want financial freedom? You want a shot at entrepreneurship? You want to figure out how to break free and start to truly build family legacy? You have to free up your mind and free up your time. I said, King, save 6 months of your monthly expenses. So you have a 6-month cushion to take care of your family. You already got a year of training from me. the strategy, the knowledge base on how to invest, how to finance deals, understanding ROIs, purchase ratios, deal syndications, branding and marketing your business, forming your LLC, creating a corporate veil, hiring your team, operationalizing your business. You got the knowledge base right now.
Right.
Now, if you mix that knowledge base with a 6-month cushion for your living expenses and the freedom of 24 hours a day to be focused on you and your business with your back against the wall, with your kids looking at you to be the hero, you gotta, with your faith in God, supported by the spirit of our ancestors, you gotta ask yourself, do I believe enough in me?
Right.
Not my general contractor, not my boss, not the major. Do I believe enough in me that with a 6-month head start in all this knowledge and one of the top coaches in the industry, in the world, that I can produce enough income to feed my family for a year and then for a lifetime?
Yep.
That's your exit strategy. Learn entrepreneurship, learn how real estate investing works, save up enough cushion so that you can free up your time for your family. Read, change your mind frame, and you gotta go put your back against the wall, and you gotta take the risk to go build legacy. If it, God forbid, it don't work, then go get a job.
Right.
Save up again, and go do it all over again. It don't stop. But if we don't make the sacrifices and take the risk for our family legacy, then who will? If you don't do it today, are you waiting for your 9-year-old? So you gonna say, you know what? Family legacy ain't on me, y'all. Generational wealth, not my turn. I'm gonna have fun in my lifetime. My babies, y'all figure that ish out. That's what you're saying. If you are of sound mind and body and have the capacity, and you don't be intentional about what you've done to start building legacy and generational wealth and
Right.
businesses, and now have your children already starting and building businesses,
Right.
so they'll be prepared when they're in their late 20s
Yep. They'll be ready.
to build businesses for their children. This is how we break the poverty curse. This is how we bridge the wealth gap. But we have to be intentional about making those sacrifices, and that's, what you did. You constantly are evaluating yourself, evolving,
Right.
making tough choices, and it's not going to be easy, but who said it should be?
It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be. That's why entrepreneurs are the bosses, because they were willing to do the hard work. Quick story.
Yes.
Ernestine and I were on our honeymoon, and we were looking into parasailing. I'm not an activities guy. I'll sleep a whole vacation away. I won't leave the room. I'll open a sliding door, and I'll listen to the ocean. I don't need to go outside. But my wife loves to do everything. She wants to play tennis. She wants to parasail. She wants to jet ski. She wants to skip. She wants to ride bikes. So anyway, we're looking at parasailing, and the guys who serviced us knew so much about the business.
Okay.
Gave us our contracts and the win this and this and this. And she said, "Are you guys the owners?" I said, "No, we just work for a guy." And she said, "Honey," she said, "I wonder why they wouldn't want to open their own business." I said, the key thing that stops people who are knowledgeable from being entrepreneurs and opening their own businesses is they're scared of the risk, the what if it fails, and they're scared of all the upfront paperwork. They don't want to create the contracts. They don't want to create the leasing agreements. They don't want to call the insurance companies. You don't want to do the upfront work it takes to formalize a business. So the person who's willing to do that upfront work
Right.
benefits from their hard. See, it's the upfront work of entrepreneurship. It's the 4 years of thinking about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, 2.5 years of research and development and investment into it to now be in position to launch this
Right.
national crowd fund, the first ever black-owned, historic crowd fund. But who wants to do 2.5 years of work without any return on investment for an idea
Right.
that might work? And that's the mind frame you got to approach entrepreneurship with, is you got to be able to have faith in your vision and your idea and be willing to risk it all whether it works out or not, because your family deserves what could happen if it does work.
Right.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts? And I want you to talk about, I know your daughter was here. Talk a little bit more about some of the companies your children own and what's next for you and your tribe.
Sure. My daughter, you heard from earlier, she's 8 years old. The inception of her company came as a result of her being taken from her school by a defects worker, by misidentified her. So when they picked her up, she was missing for like 3.5 hours before I actually located her. As a result, she was so terrified and shaken, we had to figure out a way that we could help her with a coping mechanism. So we launched a business, and I remember that night, she just cried and cried and cried. And she said, Daddy, I don't want this to happen to anyone again. So we started a business, which was a locket business, a safety locket business. It has the child's name, the contact information, the school, the parent information. And those start selling pretty good. And she see how we run businesses as a household. So she saw that money is a good thing. And remember, she made her first little piece of cash, and she said, Daddy, can I make it rain one time? So I said, make it rain one time, and then collect it, and we're going to the bank. And, her company then segued into an apparel line where she has boy and girl clothing, her lip balm, body creams. And most importantly, she always wanted baby dolls that looked like her, something that reflected kings and queens that we are. So she has her own signature line of baby dolls. She has 5 now in the collection. And they have natural hair. They have features that look.
Where's my daughter
like
at? Where
her.
is London J?
Your wife took her.
She needs to be in here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So she started that company, and now she's speaking, doing big events. My 7-year-old son, his name is Caden, he would always come in the room and say, Daddy, did you know? And some things he would ask me, like simple stuff. I was like, yeah, of course I knew that. But then one day he came in the room and he said, Daddy, do you know what hydrochlorous something is? And I was like, yeah, but you tell me though, what is it? And he said, well, it's an absorbent material that's used in products like diapers. So I was like, pretty good. So I grabbed my phone and I Googled it real quick. And I was like, wow, he's right. So every day he would come in the room and he would say, Daddy, did you know? So I said, you know what, you need to start a tutorial. So he started a YouTube channel of just information, tidbits. He's real good in STEM programs. So he would do a lot of tutorials on engineering and electrical stuff. And just the knowledge that he knew. He actually tapped into the school system computer. And he told me he don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it, but somehow he did it, and I don't ask any more questions. So I'll probably get a knock at the door one day. But he started segueing, and he actually likes to read my business books. So he started learning things about finances. So he created his own financial, with the help of his mom and I, my wife and I, we started financial flashcard series. So the first one he did was on banking. It had terms like dividends, return on investment, collateral, just different things like that, to where he started learning about finances. And he just recently launched his second card series, which are on real estate. So he's going into the real estate terms. I mean, these are terms that when you're taking your real estate exam, you should know every last one of them. And he has been in events as well with his sister. And a lot of times the adults come to him and say, well, these are financial cards, but they're probably for kids. So he'll challenge them. And he'll say, well, sir or ma'am, if you can tell me, if I pull 10 random cards and if you can't give me the definition of all of them in a reasonable response, you have to buy my cards. And oftentimes the adults have to buy the cards. So that's his business. He actually just launched a TV deal with a lending company where they actually use his cards, and he had to come up with a new set of cards, which are the do's and the don'ts before buying real estate. So those are going to be exclusive to that lending company.
Here we go.
And here's
Can we do a joint venture, some Tulsa cards here?
those are the real estate cards. Those are his newest ones.
Okay.
And
Can we open this?
sure,
All right.
sure.
Let's see. Let's do some Daddy Did You Know financial cards. Let's see what we got. Eugene, you're my guinea pig. All right. This one's too hard. I ain't gonna give you that one. I ain't gonna set you up like that. Let's see. All right, here we go. What is the borrower? What's the technical name of a borrower in a mortgage agreement?
The borrower in a mortgage agreement would be the lender, The borrower? Mortgage holder?
Close.
Borrower, the one who has the money or who needs the money. I don't know.
Mortgagor.
Mortgagor, okay.
Yeah, so I want to explain this to our audience
And to me, thank you, Kenny.
and to you. All right, here's how I learned it, and I want to teach you all. I actually do know a few things, despite what they say online. The mortgagor, right? So whenever you have a lendor or lendee or mortgagee, this is how I learned it. In a mortgage is not the payment to the bank. That's a payment. A mortgage is actually the contract with the bank, right? So that's why it says a mortgage agreement, a contract. So whoever is giving the contract is the give-or, right? Which is why it's a mortgagor. You as the borrower, you give the contract, you give the bank the contract, which says, hey, I agree to take this money from you, and if I don't pay you back, you can take my house, right? So the borrower is the mortgagor because you're the give-or of this contract. And the bank is the mortgagee, right? So think receive. So the bank is the mortgagee because it receives the contract. So whenever you see a mortgagee or mortgagor, it's the or is the giver and the E is the receive or recipient party.
Got it.
So that was it. All right. Let's see if we're going to do one more. King Avery. All right, here we go. An account set up by your lender in order to pay your homeowner insurance and property taxes. Don't try to read through it either. All right.
An account set up by your lender.
Live stream, y'all can help him. He's on my live stream. Y'all can help him. An account set up by your lender in order to pay your homeowner insurance and property taxes.
It's not escrow account, is it?
Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's an escrow account. All right. We're going to work out some deals with these cards. We're going to figure out something. I got some ideas. So, these are great. Daddy, did you know cards? Between Tulsa and JMA, I already told you that. We're gonna work out a deal because we obviously believe in financial literacy and empowerment, and this is the missing sauce to us building generational wealth. If we were more comfortable in wealth strategies, wealth terms, financial terms, we wouldn't be so fearful
Right.
and stepping out there and,
Take our foot off.
taking advantage of some of these opportunities. So, fabulous idea. I have 3 ideas actually specifically where we can actually partner and help you guys to build that. Maybe, who knows?
Sounds good.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Sounds good.
But any last thoughts you want to tell them where they can find you, your children, your businesses, our audience tonight?
Yes, my Instagram is Sean J. Harris 1. My website is seanjharris.com. My daughter's business is klockproducts.com. That's KLOCK products.com. And my son's website is daddydidyouknow.com. And same thing on YouTube. And just one thing in closing I always want to recommend to people is just don't be afraid. Take some of this money that we're spending on expensive shoes that's not giving us return on investment and invest that. A nice pair of tennis shoes, the most popular tennis shoes that most people get. You guys know what I'm talking about. Take that same money and start an LLC. Start a business. Start an LLC for your kids at any age, but don't go past 12 years old without having an LLC. Establish your good credit. Establish good business credit. You got good business credit, your personal credit will come along with that. Then put your kids on the credit as authorized users. Don't give them the card, but put them on as authorized user to get them in a position where they are now establishing credit. So when they're 16 or 18 years old, they now have choices. If you ask my son right now, he's 7 years old. Caden, what's your goal before you turn 20? Nice and loud.
It's to own a multi-family unit.
That's his goal before he turns 20. So again, instead of handing our kids keys to a car at 16 or 18 years old as a birthday gift, why not hand them a keys to a property?
Right.
Even if it's just a single family unit, a multi-family unit. Well, let's give them something that they can have as an income-producing asset. You know, instead of getting the car. See, here's one thing too. A lot of times people want to go out and just go get a car, but a better option is to get an
A rental
income-producing
property
asset.
and let
There
that
you go.
property pay for the car.
and then after you pay for the car, you still have the property as the income-producing asset. But so many people think backwards. It's like they want that immediate, gratification instead of having delayed gratification.
Because it's easier to have
Easier.
immediate gratification.
It's much easier.
But it doesn't build generational wealth.
Exactly.
So no, we definitely thank you for that. One thing you said that kind of stuck with me when you talk about fear.
Mm-hmm.
People are scared of a business, scared of investing in real estate. What if it fails? What if it? So outside of saying what if it doesn't fail, that's the easy answer. But if you're concerned about failing as an entrepreneur or a real estate investor or a business owner, consider this. If you don't attempt to own real estate or own income-producing assets or businesses, you've already failed.
Exactly.
So you can try to be an entrepreneur or real estate investor and potentially fail, or potentially succeed, or you can not do those things and fail anyway. You've already failed. If you don't acquire income-producing assets, businesses, or investments, or real estate assets for your family, you've already failed your family without even trying. So I think it's better that we educate ourselves. I think it's an important part. Learn. I told a client today, what I've learned coming into real estate is just new lingo. It's new vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is common sense. Just learn the vocabulary. Learn what it means and how you maneuver it, and it gets easy at that point.
Right.
And so, hopefully Sean and his children, his family, the Harris family, can be an example to you others out there. This is something that Ernestine and I talk heavily about in regards to building out the Morrison legacy. Something I'm working on with my daughters as well.
Okay.
Building their credit, entrepreneurship, owning real estate assets, putting your children on your LLCs, piggybacking credit, etc. These are not complicated things. They're just foreign to us because the school systems in which we come from have intentionally held this information from us. And unless you have a parent who's knowledgeable and willing to share it with you, you'll miss out. Or unless you get some kind of secondary training with coaches, mentors, or schools like the Jay Morrison Academy, or purchasing really cool flashcards to educate you as well. So, Sean, I appreciate you so much for spending time with us. It's like our third time seeing each other.
Yes.
You've been great. Your family's been great and gracious.
Thank you.
Please hold me accountable and us accountable to seeing where we can collaborate and partner on the flashcards or any of your other endeavors. I do have some specific ideas that we can possibly help each other.
Sounds good.
So we're always into collaborating. That's part of working on your business.
Yes.
When you're not caught up in the weeds, you can free your mind up to be creative and think about the angles and opportunities out there in order to continue to grow revenue. And so, again, was a pleasure interviewing you, talking with
Thank
you.
Likewise.
Hope you guys got a lot of value from Sean and his family. And I'm going to say some closing words, maybe take a couple of questions, and we're out tonight. So thank you again, King.
Thank you, King Jay.
Yes, sir. One of our Tulsa founders, partners, and shareholders, King Sean Harris and the Harris family. It's so cool we're able to support each other. Just what our village is about. I do want to mention Tuesday, I believe it's August 7th.
Yep.
Tuesday, August 7th, we're going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, holding a press conference, Ernestine and I, on, what's that? Okay. Yeah, it's a Tulsa town hall meeting. We're going to be holding this town hall. It's going to be live streamed, but you all can attend. Do we have the address? Oh, we don't. It's at the Tulsa. We don't have the address. The flyer is on Tulsa's page, or it will be. It's at 8. What's the time is that? 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. During this Tulsa town hall, we're going to be talking about how we saved the original Black Wall Street buildings. It's come to our attention over the last several weeks that the original Black Wall Street buildings of 101 and 102 Greenwood, these buildings that were rebuilt in 1925, but still have the burn marks on the bricks from the bombing and the massacre, these original Black Wall Street commercial buildings have no longer been owned by black people. They've been out of black hands. And they've been, to our knowledge and understanding, mismanaged by whom they've been entitled to. They have not been advocated for in regards to their historical designation. And it is time that we reclaim our ancestral legacy. And so we have a special announcement on August 7th at the Tulsa Town Hall in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we're going to explain to our Tulsa supporters, founders, partners, and shareholders how we will and how we can save the original Black Wall Street buildings. And I believe that's part of the legacy of this firm and organization, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. So I want you guys to chime in 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central on August 7th to our live streams, or be present at the Tulsa Town Hall meeting. It is open to all.
At the 36th Street North Event Center.
At the 36th Street North Event Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I personally, and on behalf of the entire company and our organization, thank you all for all of your support, well wishes, prayers, investment. For those of you who will make it to our Black Wealth Weekend, August 17th, 18th, and 19th, we'll be unveiling a few of our Tulsa projects. We also have our Jay Morrison Academy National Conference on August 18th and 19th as the second part to our Black Wealth Weekend. Dr. Boyce Watkins will be teaching, as long as Will Roundtree and Isaac Grace and Ernestine to be speaking. My younger brother, Art Morrison, to be speaking. I believe Brandon Wigley will, Roberta Hosky, and others. But outside of these amazing instructors, on Sunday, August 19th, I want to intentionally teach a lesson on how to creatively finance deals, on how to syndicate real estate deals, on how to buy multifamily apartment buildings, and give you guys a lot of the knowledge-based and strategies that I've been implementing and have learned and use, and show you how you underwrite and really evaluate commercial deals, especially in the multifamily housing space, etc. So join us for the Black Wealth Weekend, August 17th, 18th, and 19th at blackwealthweekend.com. I'm also told to inform investors that many of you have gotten documents in the mail from our third-party administrator, ComputerShare. There are some letters in the mail that have been sent to you on managing your TREF account. It's from a platform called ComputerShare that is valid, that is legit. So for all our Tulsa founders, investors, shareholders, please follow the prompted instructions in your ComputerShare envelopes so that you can manage your accounts properly. So that is valid. I want to make sure you're aware of that. I'm also told to be reminded of the special event this weekend, a live webinar. Listen, I can talk for so many hours on real estate investment strategies. There's so much that I or others can teach you. You can't learn a whole curriculum of real estate investment information on a 1 or 2 hour webinar or Tulsa Talk or YouTube video. You guys, we have to get intentional. Like, I've been trying to figure out how to be a better teacher to get you more committed to being taught and understanding that this stuff really works. You can't see it's dark back there, but you can really go by and you're going to see it. I'm going to prove it to you of how you can participate in major commercial assets, multifamily houses, own hundreds of units of real estate, and do it all through creative financing, deal syndications, creative partnerships, no money of your own, some money of your own, no credit of your own, some credit of your own, owner financing, assuming mortgages, wholesaling deals, private lending, hard money lending, soft money lending, traditional financing, VA loans. There's so many strategies and angles for you to be able to acquire these income producing assets, but you got to equip yourself with the knowledge base. It's not like, it's no different than any career. You could be a bomb culinary chef and learn how to cook soul food, Italian food, Korean food, sushi, but you must learn the utensils you need, the spices you need, the temperatures you need, the type of skillets you need, the tools and resources you need to be a well-rounded chef. It's no different than in the entrepreneur or real estate investment space. So this Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m., you guys have an amazing opportunity to join the live webinar with myself and Mark Whitten. If you can't make it from 2 to 5 p.m., register anyway and watch the replay of this live stream webinar. Again, 3 hours of concentrated strategy and actionable items of how you can find, fund, and flip real estate deals. No games, no gimmicks, no fluff. To register for this webinar, go to jayandmarklive.com. That's Jay, jayandmarklive.com to register for this webinar. It's going to be awesome and jam-packed. I feel like I gave you guys the financial freedom kind of exit strategy. Again, I'm just super encouraged because every day, myself and the team, we're looking at literally dozens of deals and opportunities for the Tulsa Fund. We are underwriting these deals. We're looking at all types of investment opportunities from affordable housing opportunities to multifamily housing opportunities, community redevelopment, private equity lending to minority investors, and a host of other opportunities. And through that, it's reminding me of why I love the industry. It's reminding me about what I do best in understanding financing and deal evaluation. And I just want to share so much of that with you and equip you all to be able to build your own family legacies using these same tools, tips, strategies, and information that I've been able to obtain over the last 12 going on 13 years. Let's take 3 questions, and we're going to head out of here. Is there any?
I think it's. I think tonight everybody's been in lesson mode, man.
All right, no questions. We done. All right. Again, every Thursday, Tulsa Talk Thursdays. I need you all to tune in for the special announcement on Tuesday, August 7th through live stream, or be present in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those of you who want to continue to get educated, go to jayandmarklive.com. If you cannot afford to register for a class or any of our tuitions, we do have a free wealth creators community at jaymorrisonacademy.com. Join the free wealth creators community. There's tons of lectures, tutorials, and resources. In order for us to bridge this wealth gap, we got to be financially prepared and educated. I hope that I and others have been an example. Sean Harris was excellent tonight. I mean, he went from the military to being a police officer, deputy, and now to a serial entrepreneur and real estate investor who is spearheading his family legacy. And your family deserves it, quite honestly. Look at your children, or if you don't have children, look at your siblings. You don't have siblings, look at your mom, aunts, cousins, uncles, or children to be, and understand that they deserve to have an easier route than what you have. But that route won't get any easier if you don't do the hard work now and make the sacrifices now. And so that's what it's all about. Shout out to my woman, my wife, my new wife, Ernestine Morrison, for holding it down earlier in the show and just being such a great legacy partner to me. Shout out to my heirs, Anna and London. And thank you to all the staff and team and others in the room and in the building. I can't say enough that none of this stuff goes on, doesn't work as seamless as it does without having so many talented folks on staff. I'll mention a few: King Eugene, King Avery, King Javier, Queen Janetta, Queen Tamara, Queen Jasmine, and so many others that help support the facilitation of these Tulsa Talk Thursdays and just allow our company to thrive and allow me to be the best CEO, visionary, leader, fund manager that I can be. It takes a village to save the village. TVEF, Tref Life, the People's Fund, we out. See you guys next Thursday. Thank you.
This session is no longer